All right, well, hello everyone and happy Wednesday. It's digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. I hope you're all having a wonderful Wednesday so far, wherever you're watching Before the Four this afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your afternoon here. Now, we have quite a bit to jump into today, so I say, without further ado, we go ahead and start things off. And let's begin this afternoon in Florence, where the police department held a press conference on the Autumn Strickland case this afternoon. If you all remember, Strickland was killed earlier this year, and Logan Rogers was charged in connection with her murder. According to court documents, Rogers is accused of hitting Strickland with Strickland's own vehicle back on May 17th. Investigators say intent was displayed in the incident, as Rogers allegedly circled back after the initial strike and struck the victim again with the car. Rogers is accused of coming back to the scene 30 minutes later with a pickup truck and picking up the body of the victim. It was later discovered that the victim's cell phone was located in the exact location where the strikes took place. Her body was found in a burn barrel on Rogers' property, and it is believed that he tried to burn her body. During the press conference, Florence Police Chief Mike Holt says the department received a lot of information from the community that was helpful and made a massive difference in the case. Now, District Attorney Chris Connolly said the case was presented to a grand jury and they upgraded Rogers' charge to capital murder. The district attorney told us that the prosecution will be seeking the death penalty in this case. Now, according to officials, there is only one other person on death row in Lauderdale County, and that case was in 2005. That inmate still does not have an execution date. And 48's Aria Pons will have more details on this situation, as well as today's press conference coming up in our evening newscasts. But now, staying in Florence, yesterday we also learned more details on the shooting at Southern Oaks apartment that ultimately left a 13-year-old dead. 48's Aria Pons reports.
17-year-old Cam Finese, who sources tell us was a star football player at Russellville High School, is now indicted on charges of murder and robbery in the death of 13-year-old Rylan Calvert. And while District Attorney Chris Connolly says he didn't physically pull the trigger, he did convince Calvert to commit a dangerous crime, legally making him responsible for his death.
The 13-year-old child, Rylan Calvert, looked up to Mr. Finese. Mr. Finese got this child involved in an armed robbery, and it cost him his life.
The robbery happened back in March. Since then, Calvert's family has been seen protesting outside the Lauderdale County Courthouse, demanding to know why the man who shot Calvert hadn't been charged. Connolly says the case was presented to a grand jury.
They concluded that the shooter, who was being robbed, acted in self-defense. So there'll be no criminal charges against the shooter. As it relates to the 17-year-old, the grand jury found probable cause to believe that he is legally responsible for the death of 13-year-old Rylan Calvert.
Florence Police Chief Mike Holt added that this has been a long investigation and says many details were kept from the public to protect its integrity.
Investigations of this magnitude do take time, and they don't allow us to release every single detail along the way. And this is done for a reason.
Finese's attorney says that he is disappointed with the grand jury's indictment. He does say that he looks forward to a day in court where he can tell Finese's side of the story. He also added that he sincerely feels for the Calvert family for their loss. Reporting in Florence, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
And now let's talk about the weather. Hot, hot, hot. The heat index is well over 100 degrees today, and a heat advisory is still in effect. Let's turn over to Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for what we can expect. Brad?
Well, not much out there on the radar today. He's had some bigger thunderstorms over in Mississippi. There's a little action here along the Georgia state line, and that may peak a little bit, but there's not a lot going on, and I think we'll see even fewer showers and storms tomorrow. The heat continues to be the big story, but most of us haven't reached the heat criteria today, so maybe we will not see another one until next week, hopefully. Next week looks really hot, highs around 100 degrees a week from today, and that may continue into Thursday. But there are signs down the road that the first week of August may actually be at or slightly below normal temperature-wise. That'll be nice. We're talking probably upper 80s. Here are the temperatures right now. 86, that's the only 80. Well, we've got 86 in Fayetteville and 88 in Winchester, but elsewhere it's just 90, 88 down in Coleman. Here's your forecast. Over the next 3 days, rain chances pick up a little bit as we have some deeper tropical moisture coming back on Friday with scattered thunderstorms, some isolated thunderstorms Saturday, but overall it's going to be hit and miss for the next few days, and perhaps fewer storms, just all about the heat coming up next week. We'll talk about that on the 10-day forecast at 4 and 5 and 6.
And you guys already know I say it every day, but we also do it every day. 48 First Alert Weather Extra. That gets streamed tonight at 9:30. You can watch it wherever you're watching before the 4 this afternoon. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, he'll be back here in the CTV Center, and he'll have all the latest that he is seeing on the radar. And also feel free to leave a comment. Brad always has a great time with it, and he will shout you out, and he will respond to your comments, your questions, your concerns, all of that good stuff. But now let's turn over to another story in case you missed it. Yesterday we learned that a bridge collapsed at Huntsville's Aldridge Creek Greenway during a train crossing. This comes just weeks before it was set to be repaired. 48's Nick Ballinger was there and spoke with officials. Let's take a look.
Exclusive video shows the aftermath of the trestle bridge across Aldridge Creek in South Huntsville collapsed under the train it was holding, sending 2 rail cars into the creek below. The 13-mile stretch of tracks are operated by the Huntsville-Madison County Railroad Authority. A spokesperson said it happened Tuesday morning. No one was hurt in the accident and no hazardous materials were released, but the damage to the bridge is clear.
I was thinking, wow, I'm glad I wasn't running underneath that when it happened.
Daryl Arnold runs under the bridge along the path of the Aldridge Creek Greenway once a week. He says last year parts of the bridge were under construction.
By here at least once a week, and not really a surprise. It's always kind of looked a little sketchy.
Mark Lum, the chair of the Huntsville Rail Authority, says this happened just 2 months before the bridge was set to be replaced. Governor Kay Ivey announced in 2024 a $1 million federal grant would be used to make improvements to replace the bridge. The Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, or ADECA, says the age and condition of the bridge led to weight restrictions affecting the amount of cargo that could be hauled. Lum says funds had already been dispersed and construction plans were being finalized. It's unclear if the $1 million grant will now be enough to replace the bridge after Tuesday's accident, but construction will have to wait until after cleanup.
And 48's Noah Cowell will have more on that tonight, so make sure to stick around for our evening newscast. But now we're going to head to break, but coming up after the break, neighbors are speaking out after a fatal shooting in Decatur earlier this week and an annual Huntsville event returning this October. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All right, well, hello everyone and welcome back to Before the 4. Now an update to the deadly shooting Monday night. 48's Callie Neese spoke with residents of that Decatur neighborhood who say they are shocked and scared that something like this could happen near them. Callie Neese reports.
Many neighbors here on Robin Road told me that they are shocked and scared to know that something like this happened in their community.
And that's when I heard him screaming.
Haley Bowman lives in this neighborhood and she was just having a normal night when police say a shooting took place in her community.
Oh, I was walking my dog and I didn't hear nothing. I just saw like 10 police cars just drive by like 100 miles per hour and I was just like, whoa.
This is exclusive video that Bowman took during all the chaos. She told me she stayed up all night and saw it all.
I saw him screaming, you know, like, I'm sorry, can't believe I did this. I stayed here till the whole thing, till 4 in the morning. I saw everything. It was kind of like really traumatic what happened.
One neighbor who did not want to go on camera says she saw all the police lights but never heard anything about it until I knocked on her door and was shocked to know that Bernabe Agia is accused of killing Tara Ward just a few houses down. She told me that knowing something like this happened in her neighborhood scares her. I also ran into Ward's family, and they told me they were not ready to speak, and they don't know much about what happened. Morgan County coroner told me that Ward's cause of death was a gunshot wound, and DPD officials say that this is still under investigation. Reporting in Decatur, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
But now some exciting news for food lovers here in the Valley. Taste of Huntsville, one of the area's most beloved culinary events, will return later this year. Officials say the 45th annual Taste of Huntsville Reimagined will take place on October 2nd along the trails of the Huntsville Botanical Garden. A full lineup of participating restaurants and sponsors will be announced closer to the event. Tickets for Taste of Huntsville will be available July 25th at 10 a.m. They can be purchased online at huntsvillehospitality.org. But now let's head into some of the stories that you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. Following up on the steel coal incident along the I-565-65 interchange from yesterday, 48's Callie Neese will have more details on that. A Decatur student getting recognized for her outstanding work. And finally, the Rocket City Marathon partnering with Huntsville Hospital. More on that in our evening newscast, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss. But now it is time for Facebook fun, and let me load up some of the questions for you all. Today's 48 Facebook question, of course, if you could bring back one thing from your teenage years, what would it be? And let me pull up some of y'all's comments. One thing from your teenage years. And if anyone's watching right now on Before the Four, feel free to leave your comment while I load this up real quick. How is everyone's day so far? You having a good day? Let me see. Here we go, right here. Okay, I'll turn this on. So one thing from your teenage years. I'm trying to think of something I would bring back. Maybe the iPod. That was something. I had an iPod Nano. It was actually my mom's iPod Nano. She let me borrow it when I would go work out, go on runs. It was pink, actually, so it was hilarious. I was rocking with the pink iPod Nano. That would probably be something I would bring back, I think. But let's see. Right here, here's one. I believe there are a couple, not salmon. Hold up. Well, let me just read them. For some reason, our chat is not working properly today. But Cindy Miller said drive-in movies. There's a couple of drive-in movie theaters around, but that would be something to bring back for sure. Let's see, maybe we have time for one or two more comments. I'm trying to find some. Here's a funny one right here. Let me see if it's working out. There we go, grocery prices. That's what Vicky Mark said. Hey, me and you both. They were a lot cheaper back in the day, 100%. And let's see, we have time for maybe one more. Let me pull this one up. Right here. The cars, some awesome vintage cars, 100%. Bring them back. They were just built different back in the day, 100%. Thank you all for commenting on today's 48 Facebook question of the day. That is just about all the time for today's Before the 4, but thank you so much for sticking around this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy tonight's evening newscast. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.